A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kibra. I'm so glad that you've joined us for our political conversations once again here with Prof. Herman Manyora, the hard hitter. How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing good.
Looking at the latest coming in, GACHAGUA says 2 billion was offered to him for him to resign quietly, get some security, not cause any trouble, go home. You will vie again for presidency. But GACHAGUA says, I don't want to vie again. I don't have to. My only goal is to speak the truth and talk for the people. He's spilling a lot of beans. What do you think about this?
You know, it is a question of, do we believe him?
Yeah.
We were not there when he was being offered. So it could be true, it could be untrue.
So it's a matter of belief. But as a move...
In my last video sometimes back, I said, I hope people are not linking that video to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because we have never discussed that. I've met him, we've never discussed that. I know for a fact that, as I said in that video, it is most likely Ruto miscalculated. He must have thought GACHAGUA will resign. As to whether he offered him money, that is another story. That one, it is for us to believe or not to believe.
But
politicians are politicians.
You also remember during that period, there were talks that Ruto has sent emissaries to try and see whether GACHAGUA will resign or he will stop making noise. So maybe this could have been part of the offers.
Yeah, it's possible, but we were not there. Did we even see the emissaries? Did we see them? We have been told, yes, but it could be true, it may not be true.
But as a move though, if GACHAGUA says, I was offered this and I declined, of course now he has been impeached, he cannot vie again.
Yes.
As a move though,
that is still in court. That is yet to be decided by the court. Yeah.
But up to now, he cannot run.
Up to now,
because he's officially...
Up now he can run.
He's impeached.
If it's an election now, he'll run.
But he's impeached.
It is before the courts.
Oh.
According to a strict interpretation of the law, until that has been decided by the court, he can run. Well, it's a subject of interpretation, but I think he can run. If it is taken to the Supreme Court for interpretation, he will run. If an election is called before this thing is decided, then this thing has to be decided that he was impeached properly. Kindiki is properly in office. That's number one. Then he cannot run. But even then, GACHAGUA will still move to the Supreme Court. I'm very sure. I am sure even if he's not reinstated by the court, the way the judgment will be rendered will be such that there will be openings for him to question that being consigned into the cold by the provision of the law.
Because GACHAGUA himself says that too in this interview today.
He says that?
He says that he can actually vie again, so he's not that much worried.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an issue. And I've said it repeatedly. For now, the law should be very clear that until this matter is exhausted by the courts, you can't stop him from running. You can't. Now, it can go up to 2027. These matters take ages in court. But even after it has been decided that the impeachment was proper, by the High Court, there is still the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. And that can take 10 years. So he can still run. And once he's become president, then again, that becomes overtaken by events. But even after it has been exhausted to the Supreme Court level, that the impeachment was okay, he can still question this idea of being locked out of public office by merely looking at the judgment. Because the judgment will have things to say.
Then was this a worthy gamble? You know, if he was given this offer, was this a worthy gamble going ahead with being impeached, not resign? If you look at where we are now, GACHAGUA, who some say is the biggest threat to Ruto, was this whole process a worthy gamble for him?
Of course, you can see it. You have your answers. He has sent a scare into Ruto and his government. I mean, if somebody says no, then they are not human beings, or they are fools. Either you are superhuman or you are a fool. But if you are just an ordinary human being like you and I, you must accept that the GACHAGUA has scared them.
What do you think rendered or placed Ruto in this position of miscalculation, as you put it, now regretting GACHAGUA'S impeachment? What is it that
he was so sure Rigathi would resign? And that
Certainly.
narrative was driven by people. You saw even the Grand Mullah tell him, you have a few hours. This thing, if it leaves National Assembly as it is now leaving, once it is transmitted to Senate, please resign before it is transmitted to Senate.
Everyone was telling him.
Yeah, everybody. No, it was this narrative was driven very well and powerfully. But the man of God, the truthful man of God, refused. And they couldn't believe it. I am sure they couldn't believe it.
Okay.
And here they are, facing what they are facing.
For those people that like bringing Kindiki in these conversations, Gachagua says the guy is an appointee of Ruto. He does what Ruto wants him to do, and therefore in this other political arena where elections are in place,
Where men are playing.
don't say men, but in this other field, I cannot talk about him. What do you think about Gachagua's response if you juxtapose it or compare it with what Kindiki has been doing in Mount Kenya region?
You know, Kindiki is a very good man, well-educated, intelligent, young, and everything good going for him. And he would make a good president. And forget about that. Leave alone MDP, he can be a good president. But then the context in which we are now playing, you cannot put Kindiki in the same sentence with Gachagua.
And Gachagua has made it plainly now.
You can't. So they are not. You can't use those two names in the same sentence.
But now that Gachagua has Mount Kenya region, he's also trying to play some attack, or is it defensive, on the western side, saying, look, there's this MOU that Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula signed. You're supposed to have 6 cabinet ministers. You only have 2.
Yes.
Constructions of roads are not happening. Zoya Sugar Factory is not being revived, and the president was there. What do you think he's doing now that he has Mount Kenya, but also looking at western?
You know, Gachagua amepanda sumu kwa mlima Kenya. Na hiyo haiwezi tosha. Sasa hiyo sumu anaieneza magharibi mwa Kenya. Because the next center of power that will make or destroy anybody who wants power to be president will be Western Kenya. And Gachagua is aware of that. So Western is key, extremely important in the political chess game now. So he's targeting there. Once Western is gone, you are sure Ruto is gone. Because people are already counting. Mountain gone, Western gone, the church gone. You don't need to count further than that. So Western is critical. And if I were Ruto, I'll do everything possible to keep Western.
For Rigathi Gachagua, he says Ruto is using the same script. Badani Awoshwo, Musangalire in Western.
Yeah.
What should Ruto do now? Because we believe now his northern region, 5 days again, trying to woo that place.
Yes.
But Gachagua says these are the same tactics.
Yes.
Is there a way out for Ruto when it comes to Gachagua selling the narrative that we've seen this before and people will read it out?
You know, for Ruto, not all is lost. It is bad for him, but not all is lost. For Ruto, he will need to go back to the drawing board, as the saying goes. He will need to engage people. We at Hillman Analytica are willing to be part of that team, to re-engineer the game, to craft the game for him, as professionals. We don't need to like him, we don't need to support him, but give us a job, we'll do. We at Hillman Analytica.
When you say that, it's as if those who are around him do not...
They are not capable of the game. This game is beyond them.
What is the game now? If you compare
The
it
game
to
is beyond-
2022,
When the game changes, there are many things you must change. You re-engineer the game, or you change a few things. You field different types of players, different type of players. You change the thing.
then would you say this has been Ruto's undoing after Gachagua's impeachment? That's where he lost.
He's reacting to the Gachagua impeachment. What I can say without being paid is that he must stop that. He's making Gachagua more popular. Let me give you a good example. I think I've talked about it on this show and I think on some radio station. If Gachagua says something about Ruto and the government, even if there are lies inside, people will believe him. Because who is Gachagua to the people now? He represents the forces that must remove Ruto. The forces against the enemy. He has succeeded to turn Ruto into the enemy. And the focus is on the enemy. All the people's problem. That's a very common strategy in politics. You create an enemy for the people. That ishida yenyu yote ni Ruto. So the people of Mount Kenya feel betrayed. You know, even if they were not really betrayed, that's the thing now. He has succeeded. So he represents that. So anything he says against Ruto washes, goes. People believe it. He can say 10 things, 7 of them are lies. Only 3 are true, but people will believe them. Now, flip over. Sudi comes with a litany of things, one after the other. Sukari ile mbaya ilikuwa ya Gachagua. Alitaka 10 billion. Do you think anybody is listening? Nobody. That's not how communication works. That's why sometimes you need experts around you. Right now, anything coming from the Ruto to counter what Gachagua is falling on deaf ears. That's how communication works. That's how human psychology works. And that's how politics works. When Ruto was at the peak with the hustler narrative, hustler was dynasty, bottom up, how many things were said against Ruto?
So many.
Mwizi, Nini. Did anybody listen to them? Were people listening to that?
No.
No. Uhuru had been painted as the enemy of the people, together with Raila. And those who voted for Ruto, and there were many, could not listen to anything. There is no sense. Uhuru na barabara zake za Mau nani alisikiza? I was there recently in Murang'a up to where? Nyeri. My friend, those roads are wonderful. I've said before. Did anybody listen to that? That's how human nature is.
Can Ruto isolate Mount Kenya? Gachagua in Mount Kenya, you stay with those votes, I'll get the rest of the country. Could that be a possibility?
It is only possible if the Mount Kenya people want to produce a presidential candidate. And because Gachagua has occupied that space, unless it is him, any other person, Jimmy Wanjigi, Muturi, Martha Karua, anybody else trying, Peter Kenneth, people don't listen to them. If they go without Gachagua and they want to run. So it is only if Gachagua runs or if he supports a fellow Mount Kenya people that the isolation you are talking about can work. Ruto can succeed to isolate them. These are power-hungry people. They are tribalists, you can see. But to the extent that Gachagua says the community is united in removing Ruto without wanting to be president, that is a lethal card. Very lethal. They don't want.
You're not voting for Mount
No,
Kenya.
we don't even want running mates. We just want Ruto to go. Hey, that is powerful. That is powerful. Ruto has to deal with that because it's too powerful. If they want, if Gachagua wants to be president, or if Gachagua supports another Mount Kenya person, Ruto can successfully isolate them and have the rest of the country against them. But to the extent that they don't want number 1, number 2, number 3, hey, my friend, you can't isolate them. And aware of that, you can see how he's moving towards Western.
Yeah.
In another 1 month or 2, Western will be a done deal, will be sealed. It will be completely united with the mountain. And now they will target another category of, another region or another category of people. And I'm sure next they will quote Gen Z. What then remains, what candidate will they have who can resonate with the Gen Z?
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Of course, if you are a politician out there and you want to understand which candidate that will be, Hillman Analytica is there for you. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.